Good morning, everybody. It is June 23rd, about 9:30 in the morning. We're going to a high of about 77 here in Utah. I'm Colette, aka the Highway Stitcher, here to give you some of my stitching that I've done. It's been a long time, and it's a little uncomfortable for me to be on here and do this. I don't like to look at myself on a screen, and I'm much more comfortable in person talking than I am here. But even though it's been about almost 6 weeks, I will go for this because, again, I love showing you my stitching and what I've been up to. And I guess a little bit of telling you what's been going on is I did a video probably about the middle of May for my first part of my Mania. And then I got really sick. Well, actually, it was probably about a week or so after that I got sick because I was about ready to do another video and I had started getting together my pieces. And then I got pretty sick. And so, it was a respiratory, probably was the flu. I had, the temperature, like my fever, stuff like that. And so I felt really not well. And so every time I kept thinking, well, I really want to do this before I head off to one of my retreats or one of my lace events or whatever else I'm doing. And I just couldn't. All the way up until I left for Stitchcon in Ohio, I felt just exhausted. I finally got better from it, but I just felt totally exhausted. And there was just no way I could just gather everything together and make a video. So between being sick and then being in Ohio at the retreat, it's been quite a while, almost 6 weeks, like I said. So here I am back again. I want to show you all my whips. I did have two finishes, one FFO, but unfortunately I did do a video of it to show you, and I ended up deleting it by accident because I was trying to go through all my extra, videos and things like that, and I accidentally deleted it, so that was not very smart. But I did have an FFO, and I did have a needlepoint FFO. So the FFO that I had was the winter pillow that I showed in a previous video probably about a month ago, and that was for a small gathering that I got together at in Idaho. And then the needlepoint was a little coin purse that I stitched for a friend and gave it to her. So anyway, I did do those, but that I don't have any record of them, so you'll just have to believe me. Anyway, I'm going to go on and show you all the whips I got here, which is quite a few. And when I did them, I tried to put them in order of my last of my Stitch Mania pieces from when I stopped for my other video, and then on to the pieces I took to Stitchcon in Ohio and what I worked on there. So let us get started. And usually what I always start with is my temperature piece, temperature Quaker. So anyway, this is temperature Quaker. And again, I have no notes. Well, I have a few notes here, but not much. I'm doing this flying with this off the cuff, so hopefully I'll remember some of like my fabric choices, floss choices, where I got these and everything. This one is easy. I've been doing this since January because, of course, it's a temperature piece. And Sarah, Stitchin' Mommy, on Etsy and on FlossTube, created and designed this piece, this temperature Quaker. I am stitching mine on 40 count, Zweigart linen in the color platinum. I'm pretty sure that's what this one is. And I'm using just the DMC colors for the varied temperature chart, which works pretty well for Utah. And in this case, it has been working really well. We have had, all kinds of weather, but it's been pretty much following what you would traditionally think of, for winter being the cold blue colors and then kind of just gradually going into the April, which as you can see was both colder and then starting warmer. And then there in the middle is warming up a little more. And over there a little more. And I don't have it completely up to date. I'll show you here how I do things actually. Somebody had asked me how I organize my temperature thing. And I have this cute little notebook. I mean, you can just use any kind of notebook, but I have this cute little notebook that I got from the retreat that I was in Southern California. One of the stitchers made these for everybody and gave them out. So it has a little pen in it and stuff like that, but any kind of notebook would work. And what I do usually, what I like to do is I just start out putting temps 2023 in this case. Then I put the month and the date and a little dash, and then I just put what the temperature was that day, which was 36. And right here, as you can see, that's all I was doing. But as I got farther along, like for April here, I also put down, after the temperature, I put down the number of the DMC floss that I was going to be using for that day. And then when I got done with it, I checked it off. So now I'm over here to June, and I finished up through the 13th. And so there again, I was putting the date and the temperature and the DMC color. And the reason why these ABCDs are here is if you have one of Sarah's charts, when it changes to the 10th of the month, she starts using letters instead of numbers. So the way I keep track of that, in order to get through all the way till the 30th or 31st. So I just do A, B, C, and then I put a dash and put the actual day. So it works out pretty good for me. And what I do with my flosses is I have the actual floss color that I'm using, and then I put down 60 degrees to 63 degrees if that's the date. And then with this one I put that's the right number for 96 to 99, 52 to 55. And so then I still keep these in order in numbered order for DMC. So what I do is I go through and find the right color that works for that day. And I've already mentioned to you who follow my floss tube more often that I always work on this on Saturday evenings, or I try to. And I actually did when I was at Stitchcon in Ohio. I did work on it Saturday evening on the one day, but I did not catch up on Saturday of the next week. But that's what I tried to do, and I call it my Svengoolie stitching because I love the guy who's on Saturday evenings doing the old monster movies. His name's Svengoolie, and I love watching those old B-picture monster movies, and I always work on this when I'm doing that. No reason why. It's not because this is a monster piece or whatever else. It's just what I do. So, but this is 1/1 on 40 count, and I'm just thinking it's just looking really nice. Those 80s and 70s colors there are just so pretty, and I'm just looking forward to the rest of this. It's just been lots and lots of fun. So. And I probably spent more time than you ever want to know on working on my temperature piece. So we're going to move on. On Stitch Mania, I ended, I believe, on the 15th of May. And so I don't have my Stitch Mania notebook in front of me, but I can retell you how I did Stitch Mania as I show you each piece. So, and I do have some old notes written here that what I had done was written them out to work on to do my video, and then I got sick and never did it, so I can kind of pull back on that if I forget something. So this was a previous Stitch Mania, and it was for the 16th of May, I believe, and it's Eliza Bell Cox, a Hands Across the Sea sampler, I started this in my very first Stitch Mania in 2017. I believe that's when it came out. Now, if you look at this, before I show it to you, this is a huge piece. So my piece of fabric is absolutely huge because I was doing it on 36 count at the time, and even on 40 count, and probably even on 46, this is still going to be a big piece. And so as you're going to see, I usually start up at the left-hand corner in my stitching, and so it'll look like I don't have much done, but this sampler has lots of color changes and just lots of it makes it slower, makes it a slower stitch. I did actually do let me see, I've got my book of days, and if I look on that, it was the 17th I worked on it actually, and I did 250 stitches on it. Not a whole lot, but some. So this is what I've done. And what I finished on at this time was I had just part of the rows actually done there. So I filled the rest of it in, and then I came over down here to that cute little flower that's starting here, and I started working on that. So started working down the side of the border. The border on this is beautiful with all those flowers. But you can tell, you can see like all the color changes. That it's just all the shading for this. It's just amazing, amazing. I'm stitching this on 36 count Lakeside linen, vintage exemplar, and I'm pretty sure I'm doing it 1/1. And I'm using a Victoria Motto sampler threads conversion. She made up a conversion way back when this pattern first came out, and that's what I'm using. So that was a previous Mania. When I talked to you about my Mania, which was my last video, I mentioned that I do Mania in that I stitch on the day that I started it in previous years on its birthday, which Eliza Bell Cox's birthday was May 17th on 2017. So in between it, what I ended up doing, I did 4 new starts, and I ended up also pulling other pieces, Mania pieces, and just sticking them into other days. Because I didn't do a start for every single day of Mania. I just pulled 4 that I had wanted to start. So with those 4, and then I believe I have 7 or 8 left, that did not cover the whole amount of days. So I ended up putting in the days that had nothing in. I ended up putting in previous Manias. So when I come across a pattern, I'll say it was stuck into that day. Okay. This is One Nation. It's also started. It was started several years ago. This was started on May 19th. I did 440 stitches on this that day, and it was all done up here where the where the 50 little stars are. And as you can see, they try to make those flowers look like stars. So I'm sticking to this part right here, mainly because I know how I'm feeling with this piece. And if, I've talked about how I'm really burned out with it. I'm burned out with those pretty flowers and looking like stars. I would love to go to the States and start doing them, but I know if I do, I will not finish the piece. So I am plugging along on the stars still. And in this case, for those 440 stitches, probably all that you'll see is I continued down the squares here, they're kind of off-centered squares, and then I also did them along here, and I did a few, like a couple stars. I didn't fill in the blue in the middle. What I do usually for these little flower stars is is when I get a lot of them done, then I go back and put that little blue there in the middle. So this one with those off-kilter little little triangles offset, you have to be careful and count them, because if you don't, they'll, you'll make a mistake and you have to rip it out. You have to frog. So this is stitched on a fabric flare, I believe, but I don't know the name of it. And I think it might have been Smoky Pearl, but I'm not positive on that, really. But it's like a smoky blue color. I'm doing it on that instead of like a brown, what it was traditionally done on. And so I also converted the floss. And the floss that I'm using for it, if anybody wants to know, is chalk for the white, because it shows up all right on this gray. And Midnight for my blue. And Cupid when I ever get around to start doing the states for the red states. So, and they ended up being, a good combination for this, because they show up good on this. So that's One Nation. It was, like I said, it was started 2019 of Mania, and I placed it into the 2019 of this year. Okay, on the 16th, I had Pandemic, which I will be showing you in just a few minutes. I placed that in. And then Quaker Bees, I'll be showing you a little bit later, because I took that to Stitchcon and worked on it there. So they will be, even though they were placed into Mania, I'll show you them a little bit later on my video. Okay, the next one, it was a new start. And it's this one here. It came out this year in market. The Introverted, we will eagerly, Introverted, but we'll eagerly discuss everything cross-stitch. I loved that pattern. Silver Creek's so fun anyway. So. And I'm stitching this on a 32 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I only did about that much, even though it doesn't look like much. Let's see how many stitches it was. Oh, it was 202. I must have had more of a non-stitchy day on that Saturday. Probably couldn't get a lot done. So that's 202 stitches on the block letters. I hope I don't get burned out on the block letters. As I showed you on my past Mania, my last video, I'm working on a Star Wars piece. And it has tons of block letters, like you can see with that pattern. And it's just like, I'm getting very tired of it. So I realized when I started this that there was a lot of block lettering there. So if I can just get through that introverted part, I'll be having fun with the rest. But it's just getting through introverted that's going to kind of make me crazy. So. Okay. Put some of this stuff down. Okay. On the 21st was Pandemic again. On the 22nd of May, I did a new start again. I love Bent Creek. Found this pattern. I'm not sure where I got it, but I saw it and loved it. I've had it for a while. Each day provides its own gifts, and I loved how like that changed the seasons, and the quilted earth there underneath that goes up and down the hills. I just love this. I love the row patterns for Bent Creek. So this is done on another section of that Vintage Country Mocha that I used for Introverted, because it works good for all these patterns. And here's the little bit I did. I started on the left-hand side, of course, that's me. Did a little bit of the house, a little bit of the quiltedness. They're starting to go downhill now, and just a little bit of the days. And I got 347 stitches on that day of Mania. And I'm doing this 2/2, and I'm using the called for floss, which is like overdyeds. And I'm not even sure if I told you that on the other Introverted, I'm also doing 2/2. It's a 32 count because it's part of this one. And it's also overdyed threads. Okay, Pandemic's coming up here. Pandemic got placed into the 16th of May, the 21st of May, and the 23rd of May. So, Let me see if I can, probably most of you know what pandemic looks like, but in case you don't, I better look it up so you can see an idea of what it looks like. It's a long dog sampler pattern. She does very intense patterns. So here it is. You can get an idea of what it looks like if you have not seen it. That pattern was released during the pandemic, and this is my take on it. So, and I worked on it, like I said, for several times during Mania. So this is being stitched. This is 25 count, even weave, and it's just white, a traditional white. I'm doing 1/1 full cross, and I'm using Mrs. Seda silks. She does a beautiful silk that she sells. You can find her on Etsy. I think it's MISSUS and SEDAS, I believe. And this is her colorway of Darling. So it's like blues and greens. And I had always loved, when I bought her silk the first time, I bought three hanks. Yeah. And this one I just loved. I love the blues and greens in it. So that's why I decided to use it for pandemic. And I know I got quite a bit on. Let's see. I know I've got it here. I wanted to mention it because I was real happy about how much I got. I got 1,081 stitches total during Stitch Mania on this piece. And it was all this like motif right here. So working along slowly. Oh, actually, it was this too, I think. Maybe not, I don't know, but I know for sure it was this. So this is going to be still big, even 1/1 on 25 count, but it'll be smaller than it would normally be. So that was kind of my fill-in piece for other Mania days where I didn't do a new start, and I did didn't have a previous start. So okay, and that's when I ended Mania, was on the 23rd because it was 2023. So now I'm going to move on to, oh God, what? Trying to think here. Oh, I'm going to move on to the other one of my Whipco pieces. And Whipco is a variation of Bingo that was done by Jessie Marie, does stuff, a floss tuber on here. And she derived like a way of working on your whips, and she calls it Whipco instead of Bingo. If you haven't heard of it, and you place your pieces on the different squares for 25 days, and then she picks 2 numbers each month, and those 2 numbers you can work on the pieces however long you want, days, you can do it stitches, amount of stitches, whatever you want to do. So the other piece I had, I don't have in front of me, but I think, oh man, what was it? Yeah, trying to find it here, and oh, it was Count Your Blessings. That was my other Whipco choice for May, and I did do my 3 days on it. I chose to do 3 days. Near the end of the month, on the 24th, I realized I wanted to keep up with my Whipco, so I pulled out my other piece for the month of May, and it's a soda stitch. This is the Time for Myself. And love this piece. It's just so darling to me. And I've always wanted to do a soda stitch pattern, so it was a good choice. Okay, let's see if I got anything written on this. This one, yeah, this one, I changed out, this was originally on a darker blue fabric, but I started it in the wrong place. I was trying to save the fabric as much as I could, and I should have been more careful, and I ended up starting it way too high up to where the cute flower border around her would not have fit. And especially, I mean, it probably wouldn't have even fit on the fabric, much less having any space to frame it or whatever. So I ended up frogging the whole thing that I'd done, which was this amount of stitching just about. And I was going to restart it, and then I saw this piece of fabric in my cabinet of overwhelming pieces of fabric that I have for everything. And I thought, you know, I really like this a whole lot. I think maybe I'm going to like this better. So after frogging that one, I'm doing it on this piece of fabric instead of the original piece. So the only good thing about that is at least I got all the stitches out of it. So anyway, sorry to tell you, this was a piece that had been cut previously, and it's just the right size for a time for myself, but it had no identification on it at all. I know it's a 32 count because I counted it. I know it is Lugana, even weave. I know it has light blues and browns in there because you can see it as you look at it. I think it's a old silk weaver that I bought off of some auction thing. I'm pretty positive on that, but the color of it, I don't know. So I can tell you some of the info. And what I did on it is, let's see. I know I had her down here somewhere. But I mean, the first time I did 422 stitches on it. Then I did another 52, another 270. So anyway, you know, I did quite a few stitches on it to redo her face. And then I went back and I did the back stitching. Because for me, I did the back stitching around her face because I feel similar to a lot of other floss tubers. It just brings them to life, and then I get excited. I did the back stitch around that top part of her hair too. So now I'm excited for her, and I'll be happy to get back to her and work on her. If I just left her kind of like more of a blob before some of these with the back stitching, which brings them alive, then you know, I think I am much more jazzed to get back to her. So that was my other Whipco piece that I worked on in May. It's a good thing I got this book of days in front of me because I will forget what I'm even doing. Okay. Actually, let's see. My order now is still what I did at home, and then my Stitchcon stitching is underneath that. So in a way, I'm a little off because I started on a new mystery sal as well as a couple other things. But I'm going to do an order of what I still worked on here at the house before I left. And by this time, I was pretty sick. I have some days here of no stitching sick because I was in bed. You know, sometimes when I'm sick, I can just still sit there and stitch, but there were 3 days here where there is nothing because I could not do a thing. Well, just before I got sick, I was just starting to feel like I'm not feeling the greatest. I was working on Lace Maker. Oh, before I do that, I know a lot of you have seen Lace Maker, but in case you have not, this is an Artisy full coverage design. And I am working on this for one of my full coverage pieces. And it's a focus piece for this year. And this one, I know I have a amount of what I did because I always for sure want to get over 1,000 stitches. So I did 1,356 stitches on this, the month of May. And again, you know, with a piece like this, you can't see like a certain definite place of where I picked it, especially now because there's a lot of confetti. I'm working through a lot of confetti, and so I'm doing a lot of cross country. And so mainly what I was doing here is I was doing cross country down here, taking a thread, filling it in until it ended, cross country through here, cross country through here. And I even worked over here some and did a little bit of fill in there and a little bit of cross country there. So this is stitched on 25 count, white Lugana 1/1 full cross, which is my go-to for full coverage. And before I actually put this away, oh my goodness gracious, I did not look on my Kindle to see. I work off of Pattern Keeper, which I love, 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 love. But I did not look. I'm guessing I have about 67, 68% done. So here she is again, and I'm going to focus on this I'm going to do a big time focus on this one. I got my stitching orders from a friend, and she wants me to work on this one and on my Christmas stocking. So anytime I don't have a piece that I've got to get a section finished on for a sale, I'm picking this piece up or my stocking, Christmas stocking. Because my stitching orders, I'm going to follow them. And so, okay, next piece. Aha. Yes. This is fun. I don't have the picture on this one. And if you want to see, it's a mystery cell, so they'll only show the sections of each month as it gets filled in. So you really can't see a whole thing of it at all. But if you do want to see kind of what it looks like, you need to go to Stitchin' Mommy, Sarah, and she actually shows a picture of it. I have no printer copier right now. And just have not had the time to go search out things. I think I know which one I want, but I just haven't done it yet. And so a lot of things I do not have printed off. So I apologize I can't show it to you. But if any of you know Frosted Pumpkin and you know the mystery sales they do every year, you will see this and recognize it probably, because I did Under the Sea last year for the Frosted Pumpkin sale, and I could not pass up doing the one this year, which is called Castle Homecoming. This is the first section, all done, of Castle Homecoming. I just love this. Look at them. The little unicorn and the knight and the trumpeter announcing they are coming. It's so cute. And the flag banners, banner flags, whatever. I'm stitching this 2/2 on, and I've got the tag right here. I didn't take it off, yay. On 32 count, Frost, Be Stitch Me Frost, Lugana. I think it's real nice. I was going to choose a green or a blue, and I saw this and put my DMC colors up to it, which is what I'm using, the called for, and it worked out really nicely. So, Castle Homecoming by Frosted Pumpkin. You just go to their website, and they have it there that you can join in on the sale. This section here has tons of stitching. I think I wrote down how much it had. I was just like going, man, oh man, you started us off on a section with tons of stitches. Tons of stitches. So 1,785 stitches on this first section. So I guess they want to make sure that you really want to do it. The next section is supposed to be fairly small, so I'm looking forward to that. And it actually did come out yesterday. I just have not downloaded it yet. So 2/2, Frost, Be Stitch Me, DMC. Very, very cute. But I was working on that. I think I did just 100 stitches the first day. Yeah, I did a video call with Sarah, and we just stitched on it a little bit to start it because the 25th is when it came out. I didn't pick it up again until June because I decided I wanted to get it done before I went to Stitchcon. And I worked on it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I'm going, golly, when am I going to get done with this thing? And it has a lot of color changes too, but it looks so cute. So I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I'm working on it. So, okay, so on to when I had those 3 days of just feeling sick in bed. When I came back, that's when I started working on Castle Homecoming, and I worked on it for 4 days. When I got it done, I had a few days left before I was going to fly to Stitchcon. So I decided to pick up my 2 previous sales that I'm doing and get the work done on them because I really wanted to get them done before I left. First one is Sunnyside Sampler by Drawn Thread. And we have a couple hashtags for this. We are working on this as a sale from October to October. We started this at Stitch West here in Utah, and we are going to finish it at Stitch West or before, depending on what people want to do. Because I sectioned off, I'm the fearless leader for the sale, and I probably will be to the end of my days, according to some people. They want me to be, but anyway, I sectioned off each part here. And when I pulled this out, I can't find my section part. So I apologize for that. If you go to my Instagram or to Brenda Hammer Maniac's Instagram, you can go back on our pictures and you can find the one that has it sectioned off for the houses to do. And so I apologize for that. When I show this again for my next video, when I work on it, I will pull out the one that is sectioned so you can see it. This one had... not too many stitches for this month. The section that I worked on was the tree. So it was that tree there. There were some satin stitches in it and a bird, and a fence. So let me see here. I'll do this. And there you can see the tree. Okay, there you can see the tree. And you can see that there's the satin stitches there. It's so pretty with that color. I'm using the dinky dyes and the silks that go with this. There is a DMC conversion, but I opted for the silks, and I think this part right here just pulls it out so pretty. So pretty. So that section didn't have too many stitches in. I believe there's only like 400 and some. It was easy and fast to finish. The stats on this, it's 32 count vintage country mocha, 2/2 full cross. There is some 1/1 up at the top there with the words keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. That's a 1/1. And there's one specialty stitch. Well, there's a couple specialty stitches because the tree had the satin stitches, and then there's a little specialty stitch down where those little flowers are in the letters. We have 2 hashtags for this if you want to follow along. First one is Sunnyside Sampler Sal, and the second one is Oct Sal, like OCT for October, TO, OCT. So join us if you would love to. We're having fun with it. So cute. So fun houses. My other sal is my birthday sal that I'm doing with my friend Krista. My Day Complete by Kathy Barrick. The section that I sectioned off for this month was this actual, pretty much the trunk and this part of this branch here. Actually, it did cover a little bit of the letters here, but I had finished that off last month because it was just easier to do the words together. So I'm stitching this on 36 count Seraphim fabric in the colorway Boston. And there is the Funky Bird. I call it my Funky Bird cell. And what I've done. I will have some changes in this. I just started working on this and did not think that I wanted to personalize it some. So my plan is I'm going to take out these stitches here, and then I'm going to decide where I'm going to put my my initials. But I already did change it down here, and we put in our date 10/29 because we were born October 29th into here for the numbers. And then this is Krista's, KG, Krista Grammer, her initials. So I'll put my initials in it too. And I haven't decided if I'm going to add others or not, because this is kind of our personalized sampler, but I'll figure that out later. So anyway, I'm going well on it, keeping up with it. This one does get finished in October too. So I found out in the past, after doing 2 cells that need to get finished up in October, that I have to really keep up on it and make sure that I'm done with it. So. Oh, I am using 2 on this. So, because I like a little bit more vibrant color. Some people on 36 do 1/2. I'm doing 2/2. And I'm using just the DMC. So, and I think it looks just beautiful. I'm trying to see here. Oh yeah, you can do the silks on it too. But at that time, I think I was just either didn't have them or wasn't in the mood. Who knows? But I opted to do it with the DMC, and I'm really happy with that. I think it looks nice. Okay. So I did those on my few days leading up to when I flew out to Stitchcon. So these next few pieces, I only took 5 stitched whips to Stitchcon. And I worked on them, and also worked on a needlepoint project, that a coin purse that I was giving to a friend. And I'm hoping that she shows it in her floss tube, because I didn't take a picture of it, Amy. And so anyway, at least you'll be able to see it if you go on to Amy Loves Toads videos, which you should do anyway, because she has wonderful, wonderful videos. So what did I do first? I worked on the needlepoint some, which I can't show you. And then on the 10th, I decided to participate in Pam of Just Keep Stitching, her Courage Sal, celebrating her fight against cancer. And this is the piece, Praiseworthy Stitches, Simple Gifts, Courage. I have a very dear friend who is fighting stage 4 cancer right now. Excuse me. And I'm not sure how much longer I will have her. And so I felt like I could do this and think of her as I was doing this. So if by some chance she goes into remission, and which is my prayer, that I will be able to finish this all up for her and give it to her at a future date. Got quite a bit done. Let's see. 900 some stitches on this. Doesn't look like that much, does it? I'm using Sulky Thread. This is color 1169. 1 thread over 2. And this is Live and Die LA fabric. You can look her up on Etsy. And it's in the colorway Parchment. But I've seen some of her Parchment before, and I think this is even weave. And her Parchment linen looks totally different. So you're going to have to probably check and see what it looks like in order to pick, because this kind of had a pinkish tinge to it, as you can kind of see. I have a leftover cough from being sick, but that's the only thing I have. That's pretty good. So this is more pinkish tone, and that's why I chose it, because I wanted it to be a little on the pinkish side with the red. So, but it is called Parchment. 2/2 full cross with that silky thread, 1169. So I started that at Stitchcon to follow along with the Pam and a lot of the rest there that were doing the Sal. I did have one new start at Stitchcon, and I have to find it here. I downloaded the Silk app. I don't know if you're aware of that app right there. It's the little one with the bird that's stitched. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because some of you may not know about it. It's an app where designers have come on and put their patterns on it that you can buy through the Silk app, and then they're all done in soie d'Alger silk. I'd always wanted to start a piece in the Silk app, and so Kim and I, my friend Kim, decided that we were going to start a piece, and she fell in love with this one, and I did too. Now, cannot say the name of this, but I'll show it to you anyway. So it's a German name, but it's a Christmas pattern with cute little squares, sort of like a Carolyn Manning a little bit, but a little bit different too. So, and you can see there's like the word Christmas in there. There's a snowman, a Santa, a Christmas tree, and there's the name. And those who are German, I'm sure, can pronounce that name for me. And I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But I bought this pattern and started it. And, oh my goodness, I have the... Okay. Yes, I have the tag for the fabric. Lap and Loops. I have never heard of Lap and Loops. And the colorway is Graveyard. Got this at Craft Gallery. We visited Craft Gallery. It's like a couple hours north of Cincinnati. But this is Lap and Loops, a Graveyard. Just a little start. 40 count, 1/2, 1 thread over 2, with soie d'Alger. So I kind of just meandered around. I took a thread and just did it until it ran out, and then moved on to another section. So I didn't actually finish a little square, but I did get a little guy of Santa a little bit done, as well as starting the, this is a snowflake here. So that's my little new start from the Silk app. So I think I'm going to do a hashtag called Silk App Sal. So if anybody wants to start something on the Silk app or do it, we can have that as a hashtag. So that was my new start. Okay, next. I brought this with me as fun stitching, and I worked on it at the late night at Stitchcon. Stitchcon has late night stitching every night when they kick you out of the convention center. And so we go to another room, and a few of us who want to stay up later, and sometimes people stay up all the way till 3 in the morning, which I do not. But I didn't realize how much I got done on this until I took it out of the Q-snaps and looked at it. So here's my Bent Creek. Look for the beauty and everything. I'm going to shoot for a finish on this too, just like on my other pieces that I'm supposed to be working towards a finish on. This will definitely be a finish pretty soon. I'm getting close on this. So I got 930 stitches that day. I worked on it all day long and almost made 1,000 and didn't realize it. I would have stayed a little longer and actually done it, but I didn't. I'm stitching this on Color and Cotton. It's 32 count Swiss Coffee. And I'm using the called for overdyes, except for black. I'm just going to use 310. So I don't know if you guys remember before, but literally all I had done was just that flower. Just down to about here. I don't think I even... Oh, I had these two little stars. I didn't have it down past here though, because I didn't have that bird. And I did all of that on Friday. I just was having so much fun. It was just... I love Bent Creek anyway, but just zooming along on it. So now, as you can see, I've got a house and some grass and a few more flowers and a tree. So I'm on my way. So I'm working on this 2/2 full cross, color and cotton Swiss coffee with the overdyes called for. Okay, another one that I worked on, I started this piece for Mania, but it's way down here because I took it to Stitchcon as one of the few pieces I worked on. So it's why I didn't show it to you sooner. I actually worked on it, I started it on Mania. This is Quaker Bees, From the Heart, Needle Art by Wendy. This is another piece that I know I'm going to get done pretty soon. I'm taking it with me to the lace convention, which starts in a few days, which I will tell you about my plans in a little bit. Love this. I'm working on it on a 32 count fabric flare. That's Stitchery Express. You can go on to her Facebook page, or I'm trying to think. You know, I didn't check this out. Go under her Facebook page, or there it says www.fabricflares. So you might try that too. But Stitchery Express is the name. And she has all kinds of fun fabrics where it's printed on the front to look like something, and then on the back it's just plain. So I found this kind of a greenish color honeycomb and thought it would look nice with the colors of this piece, and I love it. So this is 2/2 full cross. I don't have it with me. I did do one color change on it. It has overdyes, and I'm using, there's only 4 of them. I had 3 of them, but I didn't have the fourth one, so I did sub it out, and if I remember right, but I'll have it down, I'll try to have it down below if I'm not going crazy trying to download this and run off to somewhere, to another event, which is my life, Highway Stitcher, you know. But it is, I'm pretty sure it's Harvest Moon. And it's this golden color right here. So I'm not sure the one that was actually called for is quite as bright as that. I don't know. But all the rest of the colors are the called for colors, the other 3. That one I worked on the plain a couple times, there and back, and worked on it a little bit during the event. Okay, in June I have 2 Whip Go pieces too. I had 2 called. One is a full coverage. The other is a Mirabilia. I haven't had a chance to work on the Mirabilia yet for its 3 days, and I'm getting down to the nitty-gritty here as far as leaving for another event. But I'm hoping I can find the time to work on it. But I did do my 3 days on the other piece, and before I show it to you, I better show you what it looks like. This is a mini Heaven and Earth design, so I'm going to have to kind of like put it close up to the screen so you can see it. It's Minnie singing in the rain. It's the rain coming down on these 3 cute little frogs, one of them singing. So I started this last Stitchcon with Amy. Amy loves toads, and I probably got about 300 stitches or whatever. This time I was better at working on it my 3 days, and I got 1,499 stitches. I made it across the whole top of the piece. It is a mini piece, so of course it isn't as big as a lot of full coverages are. But I'm really happy with what I did. I used the typewriter method, working from the top down, trying to get the whole top line finished and then take that thread down and fill in other stitches. So I'm stitching this as opposed to Lace Maker on a pre-gridded. This is a 25 count pre-gridded fabric, 10 by 10 squares, and I'm doing 1/1 full cross. So I got my 3 days of whipco done on that one. And then the last piece I brought to work on 2 Sundays, and I also worked on it in the airport along with Quaker bees, is Enchanted Ornament Stocking. So, and this was also taken to Stitchcon. And I don't have the amount of stitches, but I know in the last, I worked on it when I got home too. And so I know I've got at least 1,500, if not more, stitches in it. Some of them are tent stitches. So, and here is how it is looking right now. As I go, I do the back stitching in sections. So there'll be some here that don't show any back stitching, others do. The majority of the section that I worked on when I was there was, of course, I did all the back stitching down here in the toe. Finished that up while I was at Stitchcon. Then I went up and filled in all of this, these leaves here up above here, because I had back stitched up to that point, and then all of this. So all of this was done. So I am on a roll, working towards the finish. When I get up here, there is going to be tons more leaves, tons more color changes, tons more back stitching. So I'm not there yet, but I am getting very excited about working towards the finish on this. So, oh, this is a kit. It's a Gold Dimensions kit. Before I forget, I'm stitching just with the called for floss and fabric. The fabric is a 16 count light blue Aida. And now it's beginning to feel like it's not that stiff Aida anymore. It's like getting all soft. So that's the last piece I brought to Stitchcon. And I'm happy with the progress I did. I started the 2 pieces. I did started the Silk App piece, and then I also started Pam's Courage Cell. So I think that's what it is. Who knows? Sorry guys, but I know it's got a hashtag. So, when I got back for these last few days, I worked on the stocking, because I was saying I was just on a roll. And I worked on Quaker bees for like 100 stitches each day. But when the 21st came, that's the first day of summer. So I pulled out and worked on 400 stitches of summer montage. So, oops, I gotta get down here, sorry guys, because I have a picture of summer montage. It is a Pain-Free Crafts full coverage piece. Here it is. I'm stitching on one of these for each one of the seasons. So when the season day starts, I pull the piece out for sure and work on it. And then during that during that season, which summer will last for a few months, I try to get it back out and get at least 1,500 stitches total on each one of these montages. I have all 4 of them, and that is how I'm doing it. They'll never be done in my lifetime, but I figure that's all right. I'm having fun with them. There is a kit. If you watch Brenda Handwork Maniac, she is working on these that are from a kit, but she hand dyed her fabric, so all she had to do was fill in sections instead of doing all full coverage like I am doing and others are doing. And if you want to see what the kit is, I can't remember if it's a Janlin kit or not for sure, but you can check her floss tube and, you know, she'll let you know if you would rather do a kit that isn't going to take you the rest of your life and beyond, to infinity and beyond. Anyway, I always start in the left-hand corner, so of course I'm working on the rose. And so what I did, you could actually tell better it was a rose before because I kind of outlined the whole rose part. This time I filled in this color right here, which is 922 DMC. So all of that 922 color you see there is the 400 stitches. Typical full coverage. This is a moss green 25 count Lugana. I'm doing each one of my montages on that. And 1/1 full cross. I'm gridding it myself. For some reason this just is not showing up at all like it should. So that's the comment you get, you know, when you bring a piece to retreats and people go, oh my goodness, that looks so beautiful and so vibrant, and because they're seeing it in person, and it really does make a difference to see it in person. It really, really does. So, you know, it's just a whole different thing. So to see. I'm going to try to come back, if I can, in a few days, show you my pictures from Stitchcon and all of that. But this is already an hour long, and I need to do some other packing. Oh, but I got to tell you my plans. But I'll do my plans, and then I'll have to come back another time to do a short video. So, at Stitchcon, they had these bags. You may have seen them before. They're bags that you would unzip and then you can stitch on them. And Sue Hillis, who's a designer there, made up a pattern. And let me see if I can find just a picture of the pattern instead of the pattern itself. Oh, okay. Here, I'm going to put my hand over this. It says Stitchcon is my happy place. And so what they did is they gave this in our passport, which tells us all about who's here and, you know, all of the items of what we're supposed to know when we come here, Stitchy Bush schedule, what time we're stitching, everything else. Of course, Stephanie, if you're watching this, you will just roll your eyes. I never look at these things until I'm home. Sorry. Anyway, in the middle of it, I did look. And I saw that really cute pattern. Found out that they were going to be selling the bags and a kit of the flosses. And here I zip it up. So here's the flosses. It's pearl cotton DMC for it to show up. So I'm going to take this with me. This is part of my plans, because this is like a big stitch, you know, an easy stitch with pearl cotton. And I'm going to take this with me to the lace convention, because I'm going to my bobbin lace convention in 3 days. I'm going to be leaving on Sunday morning. And so I'm taking this with, and at night I'm just going to stitch on this, you know, when I get burnout over lace making. And that way, this will just be an easy, simple, fun stitch to do. So that's part of my plans for when I'm traveling again to lace convention. Except on Wednesday, because the lace convention has a free day on Wednesday. And people can do whatever they want. Sometimes they have tours, you know, other times people just, you know, go out with their friends, whatever. And I have a good friend in Sparks, Nevada is where the National Lace Convention is being held this year. And I have a good friend through Zoom, and also I see her once a year at Stitchcon. Sharon, I'm really excited to see you in next week on Wednesday. We're going to get together and stitch and talk and stitch and all that kind of fun stuff on Wednesday, which is my free day. And so on that day, I'm going to probably bring Find the Beauty and Quaker Bees, because they're just simple, easy things that I can work on while I'm talking and having fun. After I go to the lace convention. I'm going to take off from there and not go home. I'm going up to our river house in Washougal. It takes about the same, it takes 8 hours to get from Sparks, Nevada up to Washougal. Just like it takes about 8 hours or so to get from Lehi, Utah to Sparks. So I'll just make it in one day, and I'm going to stay there a few days. I'm bringing along for my other stitching the Christmas stocking, lace maker, and I'm going to work on those when I'm up there. And I'm going to go up and see my friend who has cancer. She lives about 3 hours north of Washougal in the top part of Washington in Port Angeles. And I really want to see her. I'm, you know how you get those feelings and thoughts in your mind and everything. And we were together in California. She still has her place in California, but she said she's not going down there. She's doing all her treatments and stuff up at her other place in Port Angeles. And so I knew I wouldn't see her in California when I go down to visit my sister and other plans. So I thought, really want to go see her. So we talked about it. We text back and forth, and she said anytime the 4th of July week is fine with her. So once I get there, I'll rest for a day or so, and then I will head up there and probably stay overnight and visit with her. So those are kind of my plans, tentative plans, tentative whips that I'm taking with me. I may add more. That's a lot of times I'll do that. But I'm also bringing some embroidery and some knitting too. So, you know, I may not bring more. And books. I love to read, so I brought my books. So that's kind of my tentative plans. I will show you what I'll be working on, because my plans for this year with my lace was to try to get pieces completed. And I did do that. For the first 4 months up until May, I completed 4 bobbin lace projects. And my goal is still to complete more. And I really want to do that. So what I opted to do is I'm taking a teacher who I've taken before, and a piece that I had some difficulty on near the end of our 5-day class. 3 years ago, I believe this class was. And so I talked to her and said, hey, Allie, I want to sign up for your class and bring this piece again and work on it. And she said, well, you'll probably get it done before the end of the week. And I go, I know, I guess I'll just start up another simple piece that I can finish on my own. So this is what I am bringing for the bobbin lace to convention next week in Sparks, Nevada. So as you can see, this is like a rainbow. She designed this with different fillings for Idria lace, which is a lace from Slovakia. When I started it, each one of these fillings is very difficult, except for the little Floss stitches in between. So when I got to this one is like, ugh, this is a bear to do. And so I just barely got through 2 of them. Still wasn't quite sure what I was doing, and I could not go home and do it on my own. So what my plan is when I get there, Allie will help me get through the rest of this. It'll probably take me quite a while to do that until I finally get used to the filling pattern. Then go back, and this part's already done. Go back and work on this one, which is an easier stitch, and then finally the outside one, which is easier still. And so I'll get done with this piece at convention this year, and I'll be able to check another one off my list. So that's my bobbin lace class for this coming week. So anyway, that is, after 1 hour and 8 minutes, those were all the things I worked on all the way up till yesterday. Today's Friday. And yesterday I spent most of the day trying to pack my lace stuff. I've already packed my suitcase, my clothes. That's easy. But now I'm going through trying to pack my lace and make sure I've got everything I need. My stand, my all my threads, you know, my right pins that I use, all that kind of stuff. So I was spending time doing that, and in between I did a little bit of Quaker bees, so that's not much to speak of. So before I end, guys, I won't forget, I actually decided to open up to today, which is June 23rd, on my gratitude journal and just see what it was. See if it was one I did already. And you know, guys, after a while, I'll probably be re-showing you some of the same pictures. That's the fun thing about being older and forgetting, is everything looks fresh and new to you. So anyway, I opened up to look and see if I already had done this, read off this quote, but I don't think I did. So this is June 23rd, which is today. And the person I'm quoting is an Alphonse Carr. And they said, "Some people grumble that roses have thorns, but I'm grateful that thorns have roses." So that's my gratitude quote for today. Remember that. Remember that. Look for the good. Don't look at the bad. Look for the good there is out there, because there's always some good to everything. So that's my quote. Remember to find the beauty in every day. Pretty soon, maybe I'll be holding up my stitch piece. Maybe even my framed FFO stitch piece that says "Find the Beauty." But for now, find the beauty in every day. Glad to see you guys after 5 weeks. And I'm going to see how it does for the next, see when I can get back on and do another video. So anyway, everybody take care. Have a great stitching week, month. I will be back as soon as I can. And so grateful to be here and be with you guys. So you take care. See you later. Bye.